At this site, the U2 photograph does not conclusively indicate the presence of a mass grave. Serb trucks would have had to penetrate dense woods up a steep slope in the dead of night. Jose thinks that a positive probe is unlikely. After an hour of digging, the team is frustrated, ready to quit.
Okay, just concentrate there.
Every time we get a suspect site, it's beholden to us to probe it and prove that it is or prove that it isn't.
As the dig approaches hour 2, the forensic team's search for a new mass grave has yielded nothing but dirt. With evening approaching, anthropologist Jose Baraybar tells the backhoe driver to push his blade just beyond the edge of the mine tape. Suddenly, the outline of a previous backhoe's work reveals itself. Then, bits of clothing and wire turn up. Grey soil is a giveaway. It indicates the presence of decaying flesh, a new killing field.
It is not necessarily a matter of how deep you dig, but as long as you can establish that there is a relationship between the natural soil and this removed soil. That's what we're trying to prove. They are standing on the natural, this is not natural. It's been really removed, opened up, filled with something, and then some of the stuff put on top of it. So it is a grave, yes.
So that's a pelvis?
The left pelvis with a femur.
Well, if we hadn't have done that properly and walked away, and these people would never have been found. It's good for us, and in a way it's good for the families. But it just means a lot more work, I suppose. That's 45 mass graves, the majority of which are quite large. So it's a lot of bodies.
Today, Srembreniца is a Serbian town. Its mosque gone, blown to pieces soon after the city fell. In the surrounding hills, mass graves continue to reveal themselves. Down in Srebrenica, many Serbs deny that the victims being found are Muslim.
I think that those are mostly Serbs. That's what I think. Let them prove it.
In the majority of sites, Muslim religious artefacts were located, such as small copies of the Quran. Documentation or other items were found which provided a positive link to Srebrenica.
In the summer of 2001, a United Nations court ruled that a modern Holocaust did take place in Srebrenica.
Yes, there were massacres.
In a groundbreaking decision, the court passed down the first genocide conviction in European history and held the Serb military responsible for what happened in Srebrenica and at the Krivica warehouse.
You are therefore guilty of genocide.
In August 2001, one of General Mladic's closest subordinates was sentenced to 46 years in prison. Mladic himself is thought to be hiding somewhere in Serb territory. For Dean Manning, the case is anything but closed.
In a huge part, that conviction is in great measure due to you guys. If we hadn't exhumed the graves, if we hadn't had people who touched and smelt and looked at this thing, we wouldn't have got the result. What you're doing here does matter, and it does go to court, so thank you. I'll let you get back to work.
10,000 hearts stopped beating just in one day. Where did their souls go? Believing that their souls have gone to heaven gives me some hope to go on with my life. Knowing that actually my family has gone to heaven and not just become a pile of bones and rotten flesh.
In the morning, I drink my coffee alone. I'm thinking of the past, of my husband, the life we had.
Kada Hotić's husband, Sead, was identified. Their son, Andre, has not yet been found.
They are not with me any longer. They were killed in such a humiliating way. I'm always thinking of that. My life is without joy.
I can never change it. They were supposed to be protected and they weren't. But I can try and make amends for what happened.
On the killing fields directly across from the abandoned Dutch base at Potocari, the survivors of Srembreniца hope to build a museum and bury their dead. So far, only a simple marble headstone marks the events that took place here.
I believe the UN has learnt a lot from what happened here, and I'm hopeful that nothing like that will ever be allowed to happen again. Nothing like Srebrenica should ever be allowed to happen again.
Since the massacre, some Serb commanders have been brought to justice, but many triggermen will likely never face trial. And in Bosnia's soil, the grim harvest goes on.